Hi, Corinna. It's so glad to see you. Thank you so much.
Hello, Tanya.
Hi.
Thank you. I appreciate this. I appreciate it.
You are beyond welcome. We greatly appreciate you coming on board, being a part of her, and also, of course, playing Sydney and bringing to life this adult, accomplished, successful woman who is now battling mental health issues. I know that it's a heavy piece to produce. I know it's a heavy part to play. But as I mentioned before, when I first met you, that I know you can do it because I saw you in Birthday Cake and loved you. And again, just so happy that you're here. Now, I wanted to tell you a little bit about who I see Sydney as and ask you if you have any questions or concerns about her as well as the project. And then, of course, I also want to know what else that you're going to be working on in addition to her. So now just a little bit about Sydney. Now, as I mentioned before, I really feel like she is an accomplished woman. She's smart, she's educated, she has a close circle of friends, but yet one really, really, really very best friend. And overall, outside looking in, she's a good person. She seems to be a good, capable person. Um, However, what happens is in her is that the issues of her childhood or the trauma of her childhood that she failed to address and resolve or heal from returns. And so in her, what we're doing is watching a psychological breakdown based on or initiated by childhood trauma. Okay. Do you have any questions
Yeah.
about that?
I just, again, our preliminary meeting that didn't record.
Yes.
I loved some of the information that you gave me because you take something and just from what you've written, I was able to glean so many things. And I love this character and I what a tremendous opportunity and mental illness and there's so many different facets of what trauma does, especially in childhood and what it brings to the adult. And we had already talked about how I see her as it's repressed. She doesn't know she doesn't know it's there. She has completely dissociated from those events that were so horrible. And just the way you've written it, I can as an actor I can go through as and build, just from the words that you've given when it's all exposed. I don't want to give anything away with
No,
the
right?
script, but yeah, there's the one piece that's when the mask comes off and you hear the reality and see the reality. And I love the way you wrote this too, because there's such a great twist, because it's really, in a short amount of time, which I love this with a short film,
Hmm.
how we're going to be following her, and it's like a very good psychological thriller, which are my favorite films where you're not sure what's happening. And I think that with the very first few pages, grabs it's going to grab the attention of the audience once this thing has, on film. But it
Uh-oh.
just reading it grabbed my attention. And I'm like, oh, what's happening? Oh, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then it's not what you expect. And then I think that it is something that, I don't think we touch on enough with
Mhm. Mhm. Especially
mental illness.
with being mental health initiated by, introduced by childhood trauma. However, typically, someone who has experienced childhood trauma, we tend to see them, maybe they're drug addicted, addicted to alcohol, maybe they're destitute, maybe they're living on the street or what have you. Typically, you may not know that this wealthy, successful, educated, well-respected individual has gone through such trauma in their early years of life. Sometimes people don't show it outwardly, and sometimes they do, and we don't realize what it is. I was just uh, thinking about the term narcissist, the label that people like to throw around these days, and not realizing. I don't know that narcissists are born. I kind of feel like they're developed, like they become based on what they went through in their early years. And so that was part of the research that I was doing earlier today. I really love the thought of this movie, Her, because I really love the fact that not only is it going to depict a psychological breakdown, it also shows at least four other people, which are, the co-stars in the movie, experiencing a psychological breakdown, the onset of it, and not even realize what's happening. And that's what happens today. Sometimes we don't know what's really going on with a person, and we try to dismiss it as narcissism, antisocial behavior, blah, blah, blah. You're mad at the world. Maybe they're not mad at the world, but maybe they're filled with anger from their childhood and about to explode from something that happened 30 years ago. So I, as well as Chad, we greatly appreciate the talent, the energy, the heart that you're bringing to this movie and that you're bringing to Sydney, bringing her to life and putting all of this authenticity within her and helping us to show everybody else partly what a breakdown can look like, but also how unresolved childhood issues can not only help you become successful, but can also be like a double-edged sword and be your downfall. What do you think of that?
100%. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, again, I am so grateful. These are the roles that thrill the someone that loves to put together a complex three-dimensional character, as we all want to as actors and actresses. So it's a one of those meaty dream roles. That's the way I can explain this, because but it's also close to my heart. I think I was telling you before that I volunteer, and there's a lot with the kids, and I'm not going to say what organization even. I had mentioned it, and maybe it was meant to be, because I like to keep things private, and you want to keep people's privacy. But and I usually don't tell anyone that I volunteer. I feel like that's a very personal thing too. But there's a lot of pain out there, and there are a lot of people, and for whatever reason, that do cruel and evil things to children.
Mhm.
And we have sex trafficking as at an all-time high. I did tell you about an organization that I can share. I just went to an awesome charity event for Children of the Night, and
Mhm.
it was the first time I really learned about this, and I felt ashamed not knowing that there were kids that experience these things, and sometimes at the hands of their own parents.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing, and it's not normal. It's not normal by any means for it when the people that are supposed to protect you are harming you in ways that it's soul murder when a child's sexually abused. It's soul murder.
Mhm.
And so to be able to deal with that, there are so many psychological problems that even if you go to years of counseling, it's still there, and you have to learn to work through it, and people should seek help. And it's not anything to be ashamed of. What you've been through and your trauma isn't your fault. And how you were talking about the narcissist, it's since it's everywhere, we can learn about that label, right? It is a label, and I think it is way too loosely thrown around also. I agree with you, because there are known people that have been diagnosed narcissist
Mhm.
that are, because they're wounded and they lash out, and that's why they seem cruel and evil, because someone has been cruel and evil to them. But you can heal, and there's narcissists that will tell you, I had to learn to heal. And that's that child, that inner child you have to love. And, I always go back to God. God loves us, and God nurtures us. I always, for me, that's a personal thing. I know that God's real, and I'm grateful for that. And I know that I don't know what your beliefs are. We haven't talked about any of that, but I do know that a character like this is not hopeless. And like you said, I feel like she's a hero. I feel like it also gives hope to those that think that they're worthless, because a lot of childhood trauma is that abuse where someone has been telling you and filling your head with how worthless you are, and I don't want to give too much away. That's why I'm not even going in the direction of your script.
You know,
But I you
what
know it,
you said right
it's
there when you said that the child, being abused and how the abuser tries to belittle them even more, than the act itself, but also with the words and possibly other treatment like disregard. It's like when you say that, and then we think about her and we think about Sydney. I feel like Sydney overcompensated and overindulged in all these external things, which did well for her ultimately as far as the money, the credit score, right? The house, the car, whatever.
100%.
Um, but what was inside of her, she ran away from and used all that energy to indulge in other things. And so
Yeah, putting up.
in her way, I feel like if this was beyond the 19 pages that it is, I feel like with this breakdown and with her best friend Isaiah, I feel like all of this influenced her to get the help she needs, to stop running from her past, to stop running from her childhood. You believe
Yes,
the same?
and it takes
That's,
a good friend too. I love her. I love Isaiah, this character, and the two of them. It's beautiful. I also think he's been a safe haven and a refuge, and someone that's loved her unconditionally, and that's so important. Someone that, he even her quirks and flaws, he thinks are hilarious,
mhm,
and but she's a badass woman. I mean, she is a powerhouse. And I think you're exactly right. That's another facet of what people do. They're building that fortress.
mhm,
They're building that fortress and that protection.
mhm,
And oh yes, everything has to be perfect. Everything has to they completely wipe away any of their past in a way that it's the complete opposite of what she came from. 100%.
mhm.
It's the 300. Yeah, it's a
Exactly,
complete
360
turnaround.
totally. Exactly. It's almost like
360. Like,
she didn't experience none of that. It's like her childhood was lived and survived by somebody else, and I
100%.
know that there's some sort of a personality disorder where you kind of disassociate, and some people having experienced trauma will attribute that trauma to a totally different personality, which is something
Yeah,
she did not do. It's almost like she just forgot.
repressed it. It's back there. It's stuck back there in a compartment, and she has not looked at it. She won't look at it, and that's what's happening here. She
Exactly.
won't look at that. She won't look at it, and it's gonna look at her. It's gonna look at
Exactly.
her.
And
And
I tell
and
people, if
so
you don't, when you don't heal from your issues grow old with you. The deal about your issues, though, as our bodies, as we age, our bodies get weaker. You get 80, you're not as spry as when you was 50. It is what it is. With this challenge, with what she's been through, with your issues that are that traumatic and they grow old with you, they tend to gain in intensity. So,
mhm,
we weaken as individuals, but the issue gets stronger as an issue. And of course,
mhm,
shows the quality of our lives and our relationships and everything. And you get her. You understand who Sydney is with all this, with the incredible ability to not only, well, I guess her mind was the part of it that repressed everything. Overall, she's had the incredible ability to just forget her whole childhood because she sees
yes, yeah.
herself
I
different.
have a question about her for you. I have a question about Sydney because, I'm still informing her, who she is and where she's been, and I like the way I like to do work, I even give memories, but she doesn't have those memories, but I still have to inform those memories for anyway. So that said, is it possible because of what she went through when she was little, her parents ended up, one of them even in prison? I'm just asking you if this is okay if I inform my character this way, because I know, and that and maybe one of them went to prison and one of them died of an overdose. I picture that could have happened, and that she ended up in foster care, but she did have good foster parents that gave her some hope and love. I thought maybe that's it, where they didn't even know what happened to her entirely. They didn't know all the details of what happened to her. And she was also able to get a certain structure, but then she loved it so much it made her become this business-minded woman. I don't know why I saw maybe that could be something.
Hmm.
Or either way, she comes out of it, however she comes out of what in that, you know, it's so funny because I know it's a short film and there's the one, the twist at the end. I don't want to give it away. So I'm not going to say where she's from at all, but between you and me, you know where she's from because she comes out and says it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, did she end up with a foster family maybe? If not, no worries. Like I just, or just that was how she came out of it. She reinvented herself entirely
Well,
through the whole thing. And
yeah, she definitely reinvented
we
herself.
know she did that. Yeah, we know
If,
that.
if we
Yeah.
want to, say that perhaps uh, I would dare to guess that her father was not around, left early. She may not even have known who he was. It feels more like her mom was drug addicted, got pregnant by whomever, and then
Yeah.
just did but still had a drug problem. And how do you care for a child when you're addicted, passed out, or whatever? And so I believe through all that, Sydney endured that abuse. I can see her going to a foster home, and but not so much as them being this great family, yet more so of them being a good supportive family, in the sense that she's provided for. I feel like she learned from that
Never had
family
any of those
structure.
things.
I think she learned from
Yeah.
family structure, kind of like how to be. I also,
Materialism. The materialism end of
I
it.
also feel like she learned more like, okay, I have to look out for myself because there's no one else. She might have had a foster family where they wasn't lovey-dovey, but they were like, okay,
Hmm.
wake up, time to do your homework. They also may have been like, when you're 18, you're leaving. Just straightforward. They may not have
Yeah.
had all
Yeah.
the emotion, but they did have
Mhm.
structure. And I believe that's what she
Yeah.
structured. And I feel like she met Isaiah like possibly around college time, like maybe after high school,
Yes.
and she developed as a young adult. And I feel like that's when they got together. And I feel like Isaiah, I feel like they are like kindred spirits in the sense that the trauma
Hmm.
he has gone through, I feel like, because I too believe in God, and I feel as if God brought her Isaiah because I feel like she needed
Yeah.
that soft, trusting energy so that whenever she was ready to heal or whenever that breakdown would occur, somebody was going to be there to catch her. And that's who Isaiah is.
Yeah. I love it. I also love thinking that that's maybe what is exactly happening. She finally has someone enough to trust in someone enough that that's why she's slipping and those memories are coming back. It's coming back. She's facing it because
Hmm.
she feels comforted enough by Isaiah to face it. I
Hmm.
feel like that's also another interesting side of this. It's so fascinating. The brain and yeah, all of this, and it's heavy, heavy stuff, and I'm, oh,
Can be very weak or fragile, I should say. So it can be very powerful, but it can be very fragile. And even the
mhm.
heart, because we're starting to pay more attention to mental health awareness, but we also have to start paying more attention to emotional health awareness, because sometimes people they appear to be psychologically damaged, but they're really emotionally damaged. I mean, like, let's say, for example, the female who, will kill, her husband because she caught him cheating for the 18th time, and then people, oh, what are you going to say? It's psychological because she wants to kill him. Well, dare I say, I want to go to the nucleus of it all and see if there's some emotional damage that made her feel like if I can't have you, no one will. That's not necessarily a flawed thought. That's a tragic feeling. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes. Yeah. And we can all identify with that.
yeah,
You
that
can
one, that
identify
one,
with these things.
murdering that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like it's mental health, it's emotional health. And again, I'm just glad we have someone with your talent, with your compassion, with your soul's energy to be a part of this project and help us to help other people. We are eternally grateful.
This this is this is a big no, I'm grateful that you saw me. I was telling you also, I
Yeah,
don't I
yeah,
don't even have an agent right now. I have a few agents, looking at me because I'd also shared with you, but I won't even bring it up. All the things, life is
yeah,
crazy. It ebbs and
yeah,
turns and
yeah.
flows. And there's things, where but here we are, and it's God's timing. It's God's timing, and I think this is going to help some people. And if it can, what a treasure that it is. And I can't wait to see how this turns out. I want to see it.
Oh,
So
me too.
I hope everyone enjoys it, and it does touch and help some people
Oh,
because we are fragile. You said that earlier. We are fragile. That was something that I always picture a beautiful vase, and that's what I picture. I picture Sydney. She makes herself this, if you were to look at a vase,
mhm.
and you see these flowers that are perfectly put in this vase, and it just takes that one that just it shatters the whole vase. That's what's happened. She's put all these flowers in this vase and made it exactly what she wants, and then there's just that one stem that finally it's trying to break through, and look at yourself, look what you went through. It was never dealt with, and no one ever nurtured that. And let someone help you. You've got to love that child that wasn't loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm over here sweating
it's
like
so.
a pig because this light is on me. Okay.
Oh,
I don't
geez.
know if you
Okay.
can see Jack got his light on me. So yeah, I'm sweating like a pig over here. So
I was doing that. Our first recording, I was laughing at my husband. I had sweat rings. So it happens because, yeah, the light does start to. That's
oh yeah,
funny.
he got that film light on me, and I'm just like, oh Jesus. Um, so much again. I am so sorry for the first time, but also glad because again we got the name of the organization that you volunteer with. You had mentioned that, so we got that off. I also had the
Yeah.
name on my Zoom thing, so we got that off. So it was
Oh,
good.
good.
So I don't believe in coincidences or irony either, and I feel like
Yeah.
that time was for us to just talk and get to know each other. And then so now we have this
Yeah.
at some point, try to cut it off or whatever, try to edit it. Um, but a
Yeah.
good and any questions about we already discussed the character, and I feel like you really had a great grasp on her. I'm excited about this campaign and what it shall do, and then just actually starting the production. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I can't wait either. Yeah, and until then, I'll just keep informing, my character and going through. And if there's anything you want me to do, I don't know if you do chemistry reads with other actors, but I can't wait to meet the other actors. And I'd
Oh
love to
yeah.
get on the phone and start working with whoever Isaiah is, and just
Because
I like to build that chemistry. And
we definitely
yeah,
want to get you and Isaiah on the phone. We definitely want that.
yeah,
And we want to do a because at some point, of course, we're going to do a table read. I don't want to do too many of those. I would like to just do one. But
okay,
before that, however, I would like for you and Isaiah, because the subject matter is very serious, very intense. The way that it's written and what you go through as the character of Sydney. For me, and as well as for you, as you've mentioned, and I'm sure for Sarkis, who will be playing Isaiah, it's really good that you two meet, see each other. Hey, how you doing? Hear your voices, chat about, the characters that you're playing, how they interact, or what you feel, you feel they are, to the other person. So we definitely going to make that happen very
Oh,
soon.
thank you.
Very
Yeah,
soon.
because there's going to be some nice moments there. I love their relationship and their humor. They're going to have some, I
Yeah.
can tell, like those
Yeah,
jokes. You
karaoke
just look
night.
at each other in a room and you already know what each other are thinking. It's like that.
Exactly.
There's some fun moments, that you've written that are there that I love on the phone and him reminding her of her shenanigans and just
Exactly, right?
being like, yeah. Oh, I did want to ask you, does she call him is it is? She calls him is or Is?
She
Yeah, I
calls me
love that.
is. Uh-huh. For sure.
Yeah.
Could just okay is.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, is. Um, I love it. So yeah, and I don't think there's anything else. The only other thing you had asked me before is what projects I was doing, and I had mentioned that, but I don't know that you need any of that. I don't
I
know.
just have so much from you in regards to Sydney, which I love. I love the fact that
Okay.
you not
Yeah,
only
that's yeah,
understand,
yeah.
but you're building her character yourself. Like you asked me, because I kind of feel like, did one of the parents die and did this happen? And I love the
Yeah.
vision
Oh, good.
you into Sydney's life. You said it's
Yeah,
making me as the writer feel like, wow, she knows this character. And of course,
that's awesome.
that's what we want. The actor who
Oh,
knows
yeah.
her, got her down pat. So thank you very much on that. So,
You're welcome.
like I said, I'm gonna
Thank you.
let you go. But like I
Okay.
said, we're going to get, and it'll be in the new year. I want to do either a Zoom. It's not gonna be recorded, so I want to do a Zoom with you and Sarkis, who will be playing Isaiah, so you guys can talk, say hey, get to know each other.
Mhm.
Like I said, before we even record, we're gonna film. We're gonna do that one table read. I only just want to do one, and we can do that via Zoom as well, and then looking to record in March. All things go well with this campaign. And Sydney, thank you for your time.
Thank
Sydney and name
you.
only.
What's that?
So you're Sydney and name only. We're not attached
Okay.
to else because we know what Sydney went through.
Yes, exactly.
And Sydney
Exactly.
represents a lot of women, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think she does. Yes. And all of us have our I know, even personally, there's things, all of us have things that make us feel broken and there's hope. And I think that'll be the message, right? That
That is
there's
the
hope.
message. That is the message. So thank you so much, Corinna,